Alright, so I'm back here today with the Tamiya TT-02. We're going to talk about some of the upgrades that I've done, as well as my progress on getting it to drift well. Today we're going to look at some of the drifting around the garage and some of the changes and updates. And today we're also going to be upgrading the tires. The current tires on it are sort of treaded, and they do have some traction and grip, which I'm getting a little bit of sticking here and there as I'm trying to come around corners and drift, and it may be because they're worn and there could be some kind of sanding I could do on that. But since it's good to have a lot of different kind of tires, I'm gonna keep these, and I just picked up a new set of tires which are meant for drifting on cement. They have no tread, no traction. They're kind of like, I would imagine, just riding on PVC pipe or something like that. But we're going to take a look at how to mount those wheels and the pricing and all that kind of stuff. Alright, so for the wheels we're using these Racing Performers. I don't know if these are from Yokomo, actually. The price tag here says YOK, which might be short for Yokomo. But I picked these up at Hobbytown, and they were right around all this stuff, all this Yokomo stuff. Picked up the Yokomo drift tires, and they are specific for asphalt. Should be perfect for the street, for the garage, and everything. You can see, like I said, PVC earlier, and that's kind of what these are. Should be really nice and slick. The instructions look simple enough. You use this tape. So they say first you put the tape on the wheel, and then you snap the tire onto the wheel. The guy in the shop said that should be pretty easy, and I shouldn't have to do that trick where I put them in hot water for a while to loosen them up so you can pop them on the wheel. I had to do that with these tires and wheels. But altogether, this was under $40, which I think is pretty good. Well, let's put it on and see what it looks like. Okay, these look pretty cool. And these are really hard plastic. These are gonna be pretty fun. I think these are gonna be just as slick as the Traxxas Rally that we were drifting a while back. And we drifted that just on the wheels alone on plastic. Now, I went to the store and I told the guy at Hobbytown what I was doing, and he recommended that I did not ride the TT-02 on the wheels, for the simple fact that it's already so low. You actually need the ground clearance of a tire on there. So I went ahead and picked those up, just trusting what he was telling me. And you know, the Hobbytown that I have happens to have some really good guys in it. I've been to some that are kind of lame and a little more for kids and stuff, but I happen to have a good one here, so I trust what they were talking about. Let's put that to the test. This is not a double-sided tape, actually, just to let you know. It's kind of a foam, I guess, that will stop the tire from spinning. But it's gonna stick on the inside here, like so. And then the tire's gonna snap on over that. See how easy that is? Let's try one. Okay, and then there's supposedly a little dot on where the outside of the wheel is. So that apparently makes a difference, the inside and the outside. And I can feel it right there. A little click, so he's gonna stick to the outside. It doesn't seem like it'll make it. It does though. Okay, let's see if my hand's good enough to do that. It is. Yeah, so it wasn't too hard. I didn't have to use like a piece of wood or like anything to press it down. My hands were good enough. Let's do the others. Although my hands are getting a little perforated from this, so I am gonna try and find something better to press it down with. Let's see what I got. I got a rubber mallet. Just kidding, but I'm gonna use this to push it. Now I do kind of want to take this opportunity to look at the setup on this vehicle. I've decided not to spend a lot of money on this car. There are a lot of metal parts that you can buy for this vehicle. You can upgrade this in a sense and double the cost by putting metal parts in, but I don't really need that. I don't feel like I need any of that, and in fact the plastic parts are gonna give me some bend and that sort of thing. So the only thing that I really wish that I could upgrade are some of these links in here, because I'd like to do some wheel toe in and toe out. But other than that, for now I'm pretty happy with it. The front suspension, even if it were some better suspension, it would still be the same. I've gone ahead and taken my front shocks out so that I've dropped the whole front up. And at one point, I just used some zip ties to clamp some of the center springs in, and that's changed the ride height. Just use some really small zip ties to zip those together and make those springs smaller but still have a little bit of springs. And I'm running this all kinds of different ways to see how I like it, so these could go back in after I put these tires on. But for now, I've taken the springs out of the front so that the front's just dropped to the ground. I have changed out the brushed motor for a brushless motor. My reasoning for this is that it's a high-speed racing type of a vehicle, which means I'm going to be on the throttle a lot and the motor's going to get a lot of wear and tear. You can buy over time multiple brushed motors and replace them. You can rebuild those if you're really into it, or you can spend your money just getting a brushless motor. I can already tell that sounds pretty cool. These are just gonna go. Alright, well let's try it out. Okay, I like the way these drive so far. These are definitely the kind of tires that I need to drift inside the garage. I have to say it's not drifting like I would want, but you know, it is the TT-02. These things slide a lot better than the old tires with just a little bit of tread. I have to say the TT-02 is not the best drift car, but its challenges make it pretty fun. I was able to do some spins and donuts and things like that. The issue with the TT-02 in the four-wheel drive setup is that the front wheels don't have a whole lot of direction to them. So you'll find that you can't really do a hardcore drift without upgrading that front end and removing your four-wheel drive and just running on rear-wheel drive. It is something in the future that I want to do. I'm not so sure if I'll do it to this or if I'll build a whole nother one, or if I just want to, you know, dive right into the whole drift market and buy an actual drift car. So let me know what your experiences are. I'm pretty curious because I really have been having fun drifting. I don't want to spend more than I would on a rock crawler, and I do kind of want to build my own coming up here. So while the TT-02 is not really the best drift car out there, it's really an affordable and fun car to drive around. I don't think that in its current state I can really drift with a lot of control, but it sure is fun. I'm going to make some changes and see what that does. Hopefully it adds a little bit more control and performance. I think maybe lifting the front end up a bit instead of slamming it down. Put these dropped shocks back in. Let's see what goes on.